Hi, Marcus Ruiz Evans here with another installment of What's Going On in California. These are crazy times. So, recently in the news, you saw Californians coming across California to protest Governor Newsom and say, reopen the economy and we don't like how California's doing things and we stand for President Trump. Particularly, there were videos of lots of people in Huntington Beach storming the beaches and saying they want the economy reopened. Well, two things. One, those aren't real Californians. Yes, those people live here. They do not share values and they are not representative of us. Fact is, a lot of people would have gone out to counter protest them, but we knew to stay home. So this image of Californians coming together to celebrate Trump and reopening the economy and no counter protesters and nobody yelling at them, you're idiots and you don't represent us, is not fair. Everybody who felt that knew not to go. And the conservative protesters who did this knew that was going to happen. It's a setup. They knew they could go out in public in the Capitol and on a beach and nobody would meet them to say, you don't represent us. And then they knew they could get that on Fox News and make it look like, see, Californians all feel this way. There's no counter protesters. Nobody disagreed with them. That's disingenuous at the height of extreme. That's a trick, folks. Don't buy it. Garbage. But a lot of talk about that video in Huntington Beach. Oh my God, here's Californians and Fox News loved it and everybody pointed to that outside of California. Here's an example of Californians want the economy reopened and they don't agree with Newsom. Well, here's the thing. Huntington Beach is the most anti-California value city in all of California. It's been the most anti-California values and the least representative of California for 3 decades. I'm going to prove that now. You can go back to 1993 to 2019 and find instances of xenophobia and discrimination against people because they don't have white skin. Now, I'm going to prove this. I know you're hearing this and sounds too extreme, but Huntington Beach, the most racist place in all of California for 3 decades, the most xenophobic administration in all of California for 3 decades, and the least representative of who we are in California, anywhere in California. So when we see people going to the beaches and saying they want to reopen the economy, Governor Newsom and everybody in California, what I'm telling you is good. You saw what the place that's the least California thinking place said. So, Newsom, Californians, if you want to see what people who don't like us and don't share our values and hate us and live here think, look no further than the people of Huntington Beach in the video there. They do not represent our values. They are opposite of everything we've been for decades. I'm not making this up and I'm not picking on them. I'm going to point out facts. Huntington Beach has declared who they are many times. They made it very clear how they feel. They do not support us. They do not like how we believe here in California. And so when you see a protest in Huntington Beach, it should say, that's not California. Those people aren't like us. So, Huntington Beach, most racist, most xenophobic, most anti-Californian. The protest for reopening the economy against Newsom was in Huntington Beach and nowhere else in California. That's key. So, you are the most xenophobic place in all of California. You're the most racist. You're the most segregated. You go back decades doing that. Donald Trump's called you out and said he loves it. And then you are the one and only one beach in all of California to reopen and say we want to reopen the economy. Coincidence? Let's find out. So these are what I like to call hard facts. The one and only one violent protest of Calexit members from 2016 to 2020 happened in one and only one place, and that was Huntington Beach. That was on April 30th, 2019, with That's the Point with Brandon. There was a bunch of Trump supporters there talking about how they don't like sanctuary cities. Calexit went out to meet them. We had just as many people, and we were telling them, get the hell out of California, and we don't like you, and you're not welcome, and leave. And they didn't like that. Some of them crossed the street and picked a fight with Calexit people. That's the point with Brandon. Tried a confrontation, and they posted it up saying, look at all these violent Antifa people. He met specifically Independent California and Yes California. Independent California and the Calexit movement. Yes California advertised what Independent California did. So the one and only one violent protest, Calexit. Been protesting up and down California, left and right, 4 years. Only one violent protest. Huntington Beach. Coincidence? Okay. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, just to prove to you what this place is. How they're not us. I know that's extreme, but take a look at the facts, okay? I didn't make this up. I didn't travel back in time and make people say this. This is what they did. July 1993, the LA Times says there is more white supremacist violence in Huntington Beach than anywhere else in all of California. That's July 1993. In fact, the title of the LA Times article is Skinhead Capital of Orange County, and they're talking about Huntington Beach. Let's go to February 1996, same newspaper. Huntington Beach is a skinhead's jaunt. February 1996. So 1993, most violent white supremacist attacks, capital of racism. 1996, if you're a skinhead, you hang out at Huntington Beach. I didn't make the LA Times say that. They chose to say this 20 plus years ago. January 2018, there was a article out in Vice News, I believe, on a documentary called Huntington Beach. And it was in January 2018, LA Magazine talked about how, LA Magazine, January 2018, talked about how Huntington Beach, the punk music scene in the 1990s, was not like LA and was about white power. So it was an article 2 years ago talking about punk music in LA, and it said, hey, the LA music scene was very much about diversity in punk music. Orange County in the 1990s was about racism and white supremacy. That's a documentary filmmaker in an interview talking about punk rock music in the 1990s and saying, in the 90s, if you wanted to see white supremacists, you went to Orange County and Huntington Beach. That's where you went. I didn't make him say that. He was there in the 90s. He said that's what Huntington Beach was. And we have 2 LA Times articles pointing that out. Let's go to the 2000s. Maybe 2000s, they changed their tune and life became very different. Well, the facts don't support that. So, May 31st, 2002, Huntington Beach was the source of a lawsuit to overturn racial balancing for Prop 209. So Prop 209 was one of the most racist initiatives passed in California during our racist period in the 1990s. The period that Gavin Newsom this year said was our Trump era. So yes, the 1990s, Trump-like, super racist in California. Newsom said that recently. Now, Prop 209 was a very racist initiative at that time designed to discriminate against Latinos, I believe. Huntington Beach was the source of the first lawsuit to overturn busing minorities to other schools so that you had racial balancing. So California is committed to diversity. We wanted to make sure that school children grew up in diverse schools. And so we had a policy of busing and having students from certain communities go to a common high school so they had interactions with people of different races. Huntington Beach was where the lawsuit started to shut that all down and say, we need segregated schools and we don't need to do anything in order to break down segregation. And they were the first to jump on one of the most racist initiatives passed in California in the early thousands, Prop 209. So May 31st, 2002, Huntington Beach, source of the lawsuit to shut down integration. I didn't make that up. October 7th, 2004, LA Times talks about how a racist slur against African Americans was spray painted on a man's fence. October 7th, 2004, LA Times says, wow, we don't normally see this in California. African American man lived in a community for decades and somebody writes a bad word on his fence that's mean to African Americans. So everybody sees, and it just happens to be in Huntington Beach. Let's fast forward. 2009, August 2009, Huntington Beach, Slater slums. 2 people walked into Slater slums and killed Mexicans because they were Mexican. So, August 2009, Huntington Beach, Slater slums, 2 white people walked in, killed Mexicans because they were Mexican. Huntington Beach, 2009. May 2013, that's May 13th, 2013. The most racist tweeting place in all of California is Orange County. So Humboldt University, May 13th, 2013, does a study on tweets across America. They notice a lot of racist tweets in the South. And then you go, well, there's one place in all of California that matches the level of racism seen in the Deep South and nowhere else in America. Orange County, Huntington Beach, official study, May 13th, 2013. Most racist tweeting, 2013, coming from that place right there. August 1st, 2013. Vice News, a documentary by Ed Templeton. Vice News, August 1st, 2013. Ed Templeton, documentary covered by Vice News. And he talks about how Huntington Beach is a white supremacy. They love it. So many racists and swastikas everywhere. 2013. Then let's go to, August 2013, Vice News. Ed Templeton said that Orange County had the highest concentration of skinheads outside Cologne, Germany. Outside, the highest number of skinheads anywhere in the world outside of Germany is in Orange County in 2013. Yeah. Okay. January 16th, 2015. January 16th, 2015, the United States federal government sues the Huntington Beach School District. So U.S. civil rights attorneys sue the entire Huntington Beach School District. Not one school, the entire school district of Huntington Beach, just them, because students taunted a Jewish student with racism against Jewish people, and the entire district failed to respond. So 2015, the feds call out Huntington Beach going, you have students calling racist names. You did nothing across the entire district. Not one school, not one teacher, not one principal, everybody in the whole school district. April 29th, 2016. April 29th, 2016. Assembly, so in the California government, there was a bill proposed to name John Wayne Day. Now, this is April 29th, 2016. There's a bill proposed to name John Wayne Day here in California. This is after it comes out that John Wayne said that he endorsed white supremacy. So I like John Wayne. I like his movies. But when the news comes out and say, hey, here's these things he said saying white people should run everything, that's not good. Well, after that comes out, an assembly member says, hey, let's have a day named after this white supremacist. That assembly member in all of the California Assembly, only one proposes that, and he is from Huntington Beach. Yeah. Every assembly member, there's over 100 in California, and the only one to say, let's endorse a racist white supremacist is from Huntington Beach. Yeah. April 2016, a UCLA study points out that the most segregated community in California is Orange County and Huntington Beach, and that white people in Orange County segregate themselves from Mexicans. April 2016 UCLA study. And they're talking about Orange County and Huntington Beach. Okay. March 19th, 2017. March 19th, 2017. A employee at a restaurant asks people who come in. So there's a restaurant in Huntington Beach. People come into the restaurant. They ask for drinks. The employee says, prove to me you're not an illegal Mexican and you have papers. That just happens to be in Huntington Beach. That employee happens to be Caucasian, and they happen to ask people who are ethnic. I need to see proof you are a citizen. March 19, 2017, happened in Huntington Beach, made LA news because no one else was doing it. March 25th, 2017, Huntington Beach racists beat up a journalist. That's documented in the news. LA Times, again, going, wow, you got racists beating up journalists now? March 25th, 2017. March 29th, 2017, a Latina, who's a business owner in Huntington Beach, runs for the Ocean View Board of Education. So Latina, Huntington Beach business owner, runs for Ocean View School Board. And she posts tweets about anti-Semitism and white supremacy. Now pay attention. This is a Latina in Huntington Beach acting like a white supremacist. You're going to see more of that. And she slams Jewish people, all Muslim people, and she talks about white supremacy's cool. And yeah, that was a Latina, and yeah, that was March 29th, 2017. So, May 10th, 2017. May 10th, 2017, an African-American person goes to a Safeway in Huntington Beach and sues Safeway because the employee insisted that they are black and therefore will be paying in food stamps. So, you're African American, you go to Safeway, and the person goes, you're going to be paying in food stamps, right? Because you're black, right? Huntington Beach, only happened there. LA Times goes, wow, that's weird. Let's talk about this across LA because stuff like that is so blatantly racist, happens nowhere else. Just happened in Huntington Beach. October 24th, 2018, Rob Rundo of the white supremacist group Rise Alone, who participated in the Unite the Right rally. That's that violent one in Charlottesville that terrified everybody with the tiki torches. Yeah. So white supremacists out of California participated in that. October 24th, 2018, Rob Rundo's their leader. Worldwide manhunt for this guy. White supremacist leader, linked to all these things. Oh, where's he from? Huntington Beach. Where's the Rise Above movement started? Huntington Beach. And that was the big hate group from California that actually participated in the Charlottesville massacre. And they're from Huntington Beach. Nowhere else. Okay. 2018. I don't have a specific month for this. 2018. A Mexican woman from Huntington Beach, who's a mortgage broker, another business owner, Mexican, a Latina, out of Huntington Beach, business owner, goes on Twitter and says, I'm a racist and illegals are horrible people. So, Huntington Beach, second Latina business owner, slams, says something super racist. March 2nd, 2018, a professor from Golden West University in Huntington Beach, a professor, shouts at Asian people, go back home. So, professor, University, Huntington Beach, March 2nd, 2018, yells at Asian people, go back home. Makes LA Times. LA News. March 28th, 2018, Donald Trump says he stands in solidarity with Orange County for refusing to participate in California's support of undocumented. So March 28th, 2018, Donald Trump singles out Orange County and all of California and says, I like what you're doing. March 28, 2018, stands in solidarity with Orange County on sanctuary cities. April 3rd, 2018, the only city in all of California to sue the California government for sanctuary cities is Huntington Beach. So, the lawsuit that that stopped desegregation in California started at Huntington Beach. The lawsuit, the only one from any city in California to stand against California's policy of protecting undocumented, started at Huntington Beach. April 3rd, 2018. January 27th, 2019. So, January 27th, 2019, the California government, the Attorney General does a review of every city that followed the sanctuary cities policies here in California. 20 cities out of 482 did not comply with protecting undocumented immigrants. That's 4%. So 4% of all California cities said, we are going to be in non-compliance with the sanctuary cities. So 4% of all cities in California said, I'm not following your sanctuary cities policy at all. 4%. Huntington Beach was one of those cities. Finally, March 3rd, 2019. School is investigated March 3rd, 2019 in Newport Beach. Newport Beach is right next to Huntington Beach. Newport Beach, right next to Huntington Beach, March 2019. Students were caught making a swastika out of cups and giving a Nazi salute. And finally, April 30th, 2019, you have Trump supporters come out in Huntington Beach, one of the biggest protests there, and they get violent with Calexit people, and it is the only violent protest that Calexit was ever involved in because our members were attacked, and it's on video. So, there you have it, 1993 to 2019, Huntington Beach, xenophobic, racist, and it happens to be the place that they did the we don't want to listen to California, we want to listen to Trump protest this weekend. Coincidence?